Hey everyone, Zombie Medic here. Today we're going to be doing a video on how to get into a Exile modded Arma 3 server. Now, particularly the server that I'm playing on, which a lot of these servers that are Exile servers are very similar to, require you to download mods for the game. Now, if you don't know how to download mods, there are plenty of videos on YouTube that will show you exactly how to download mods, how to extract them, how to make sure that your Arma 3 launcher is up to date with your mods, and even some other launchers that are external to actual Arma 3 content, or rather Arma 3 official, that will manage your mods for you. Now, in a lot of these mods, like I said, there are a lot of the same mods. For example, you have like your community-based add-ons mods, your map mods, your exile mod, but they all differ slightly in that they play on different maps, or they play with different movement or gearing equipment type modifications. Now this server in particular is IBB Exile, which stands for iBox Bears. This is a server that I found on while looking through for an Exile server, and it seems to be pretty good so far. It's fairly well done. The admins in the server are responsive and present most of the time. With a lot of Exile servers, there are some rules you have to follow, so it'd be a nice thing to do is just to take a quick look at their website, look at some of the base rules so that you don't get kicked or you don't get banned for a reason that you have no idea why. So the first thing we're going to start with here is the mods themselves. So if you join into a server, you'll see in the bottom right hand of your screen the mods that it plays, or the mods that it requires to play. A lot of it's going to be like the first part here, like the cards, marksmen, helicopters, apex. Those are just the Arma official DLC content that the game supports. Now, these red and green dots are symbolizing the actual mods that you're going to use. So take a look here, you'll see that there's all these mods. There's probably 9, 10 of them. Some of them are going to appear red, some of them are going to appear green. Now, from what I can see, it doesn't really matter whether or not they're red or green. Green kind of seem to indicate that they are up to date and current with the server. Red either means that they're not up to date within your own files, or the server does not have them up to date. Either way, they work. It might just be a little bit of playing around with it until you get it right as you join the server. If there's a mod that's not working correctly with the server, it'll tell you you can't join the server because of this reason. It'll give you a huge string of locations of what's wrong, and you can kind of see, oh, it's the exile mod that's not working, or it's the map mod that's not working. So we'll go over a couple of the mods that require an actual physical download on your part. Those are going to be the, I pull it up here, it's going to be the Exile mod itself, the RHS United States Forces, and the RHS Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. So each one of those, you're going to have to actually go to the website and either download a torrent of the file or download through your browser itself. So with the Exile mod currently that we're running is on the website here. You can see the URL. I'll also post a link to the URL in the video and in the description below. The current version that we are on right now is 1.02 Kohlrabi. Now that's updated, as you can see, several different times, fix bugs, glitches, updates, things like that. But that's going to be the one that you're going to want to download, is the 1.0.2. Pretty much all Exile servers, if you play on this server, if you play on other servers, are going to be running the most current version. So head over to that website and pick that up. The next thing you're going to need is the the RHS mods. Now, what the RHS mods are is the Russian Federation and the United States Forces. What those are gear packs, or equipment packs rather. So all of the equipment, the gear, guns that you're going to get within the game are going to come from these mods. So some of these mods actually do work if you don't have them. So for instance, if you try to join the server without having these mods, you'll probably be able to get in the server. But when you try to pick up a piece of gear that comes from this server and put it on, you might see it, but other players won't see it. It looks like if you picked up a gun, it looks like you're holding nothing, or you look like you're naked if you're wearing one of these clothing packs. So you're going to need both of these. You need the USAF mod and the RHS AFRF. Now both of these you can find in the download. I torrent them personally because it's a lot faster than trying to download through Google Chrome. But if you're so inclined, you can also get this AFRF updater that'll kind of update the mods for you. To kind of acts as a download middleman type of program. You download it, and then from there you can download the most recent versions of the mod. Now, like I said, torrent for me is the easiest way. If you don't know how to torrent, you can see a lot of videos on how to torrent. People talk about torrenting being bad because you can get involved with the government and stuff. But when the actual producer or the maker of the mod or the content puts them up for a torrent, then it's a free torrent. You don't have to worry about it. Torrenting in that sense is just fine. But if you use BitTorrent or if you use uTorrent, that's a great way to go. So download both of those. Now the other mods that you're going to get are going to be coming from the Steam Workshop. Now Steam Workshop, if you haven't used, I'll give you a quick show of how to do it. So you open up your Steam and you go over to Community here, and you can click on Workshop. Once you have clicked on Workshop, click on this right hand side, you'll see your playtime. It's going to bring up a list of all the games that you play. Now for me, I play Arma the most, so it's going to be the first one that pops up. You might have to do a little bit of searching in here, but it should be your games. You click up that, or you click on that, and that'll bring up basically all of the mods or the workshop items that you can download for this game. So for example, one of the things that you're going to need here is the map. I mean, you'll need the map itself to play, because it's a custom map. It's not an Arma 3 map. So you're going to go here and type in Dariyah, and the first thing that pops up is G.O.S. Dariyah. So you'll click on the little check mark, which will subscribe it to you, and then it'll do an automatic download to start downloading mods. So like I said, all of these mods that say Steam Workshop are all the things that you're going to get from the Steam Workshop. It's a bit of data, and it'll take a little bit of time to do, but once you have them, for the most part, you'll be able to get into a lot of the servers that play Exile if you don't want to limit yourself to one server. One last thing you're going to want to check out is the actual website of the server that you're going to join, because a lot of times they're going to have rules. Don't kill people while in a safe zone, don't steal people's vehicles while in a safe zone, don't run people over, etc., etc., etc. Things that can get you strikes or negatives against you to where you'll get banned and not be able to play on the server again. So website, again, I'll put down all the links in the description that are going to be needed, and also in the video. Click on server rules, and it'll give you a list of the general rules, basic rules, safe zone rules that you'll need to know. So that's going to be a big one, is if you do something in game, you have no idea what you're doing, people start yelling at you, and you're like, what did I do wrong? I don't know. Well, can't play ignorant. Alright, so now that we're in game, you can see right now I'm in a safe zone, and I'll go over the explanation of what a safe zone is, or trader, common numerage for things around the environment. First thing you're going to want to do when you spawn in, or when you get in, it's going to ask you, and I can show this in a later video too, this is going to be kind of a compilation video of a lot of different parts of playing, just specifically because there's a lot to the game, and try to cover it all in an instant is near impossible. So when you get into the game, it's going to ask you somewhere to spawn. It'll give you a list of towns that you can spawn in looking on the map. So when you look at the map, you'll see these icons here. This, for example, this icon here in Tajika looks like a little pacifier, and that is representing what's called a Bambi town. Now, again, common nomenclature, Bambi is a new player, or not necessarily even a new player to the server, but a new body. So every time you die and you respawn back in, you respawn as a Bambi, and you'll see a little icon on the right hand side of your screen that looks just like that little pacifier icon. That means you're Bambi. Now, there's a couple benefits to actually being a Bambi. Is if you're a Bambi and you still have that icon, anybody that kills you will get negative respect. And I'll go over a little bit what respect is in a little bit here, but just keep that in mind. As a Bambi, if somebody kills you, they're going to lose respect. So it makes it a little, I don't want to say safer, because people are still going to kill Bambis, but it makes it a little safer for you to be a Bambi in Bambi towns. Now, as soon as you pick up a gun, as soon as you pick up a vehicle, that Bambi state expires, and you now give respect to people that kill you. So something to keep in mind. So like I said, there are several of these Bambi cities across the town. You got one in Tajika, one in El Minsa, Eastern Desert, kind of all over the map. Again, next time I die, or maybe I'll just kill myself so I can show you what the Bambi town is like. We'll get into that. But for right now, we're going to get into a little bit of the looking at the map and orientating yourself. So you see these towns that have these blue circles around them. These are what are called traders, or safe zones, or FOBs, as people refer to them as that. Basically, there are areas, which I'm in right now, where you cannot be killed, you can't take damage, you can't kill other players. You're safe, essentially. Now, one of the big things that's on the server rules, as you'll read, is no fucking around a safe zone. Now, granted, I posted a video where we were all screwing around in cars, but if somebody would have reported us for doing that, we probably could have gotten in trouble because one of the guy's vehicles accidentally exploded. But number one thing is don't run people over in safe zones. Now, what this means is, it probably sounds confusing, but if somebody were to jump on that four-wheeler right there and hit me, it would knock me down onto the ground, and I would be kind of incapacitated for a little while. It's more of like a griefing thing. Just, it pisses people off, and if you get caught doing it, or somebody is really upset that you did that, they can report you to an admin, and then you can get a strike against you. 3 strikes, you're out, type of thing. Another thing to do is, there is a locking vehicle mechanism to the game, where you can buy a new vehicle, set a pin for it, and only you that knows the pin can get into it. However, some vehicles that you find, or if you purchase a vehicle and forget to pin it, remain open. So, for example, this is not my quad bike, but I can come over here and jump on it and drive it. Now, if this is an actual vehicle somebody cared about, that's considered stealing. It's in a safe zone. You don't steal other people's vehicles in a safe zone. It's just a dick thing to do, and again, another griefing thing. That can get you in trouble as well. So, basically, just don't take people's shit when you're in a safe zone. If it's not yours, don't take it. Outside the safe zone, free game. Don't run people over. If you try to shoot somebody, it's not going to do anything. So if let's see this guy over there, if I try to shoot him, nothing's going to happen to him because he's immune. So, like I said, just pretty much limit yourself on screwing with people in a safe zone because it could get you into trouble. Now, after you get into the game, one of the first things you want to take a look at is what's called the XM8 system. It's 6 default on your keyboard, brings it up. Now in here you'll see a bunch of different things. You'll see the party tab, which is where you can create a party, name it, or join a friend's party. You'll see the territory tab, which will show you where have you established territory. And we'll go into territory and base building in a second. It looks like our flag has been stolen, which means our base territory has been stolen. But like I said, we'll go over that in a little, maybe in a later video, or maybe later in this video. It depends. So again, server rules are on here. A couple of main things here to look at is pop tabs and respect. Pop tabs is the currency in the game rather than dollars. It's pop tabs. So anytime you sell something, anytime you buy something that you find, or what else is going to be worth money. And again, like I said, money is the main currency. Now the second currency is called respect. Now if I run over to a trader here real quick, you'll see that there's a lot of guns that I can buy and guns that I cannot buy. And although this looks like I can't buy it because I don't have the money on me for it, but it'll look a lot like this as well. You need respect. So if you start out the game, you're going to start off the game with 0 respect. You kill people, kill AI, complete missions, sell things, all those different things gives you respect. The higher respect, the better items you can purchase. So starting out, you can only buy kind of the basic gear and supplies and medical equipment, vehicles, things like that. Once you earn more respect, you start being able to buy the better gear. Again, if you want to take a look at this trader guy again, items are categorized by their commonality or by their commonplace by color. So white is going to be the most common item. Green is going to be is going to be uncommon. Blue, rare, and purple, kind of the epic sort of categorization. So if you see a weapon on the ground and it looks purple, or a piece of gear that looks purple, you know that it's a good piece of gear and it's probably going to sell for a lot of money. Within the game itself, you're going to want to, initially starting off, probably sell a lot of the things you get. Rocket launchers are something that sells for a lot. You can sell the rocket and the tube, or the rocket in the tube, for quite a bit of money. Now, selling that will get you respect and it'll get you money. One of the things you can do with your money is if you run over here to the lockers, and all these things in here are in all the FOBs or the traders or the safe zones. You can go over to the inventory here, which is the locker, and it's considered your bank. You can deposit money into your bank, because every time you die, if you have that money on you when you die, you lose that money. It's going to drop on the ground with all the rest of your gear, and somebody can pick it up. So now the next thing we got here is the office trader. Going into the office trader will get you different things. If you walk up to this guy and you see the icon up here, use your scroll wheel and you'll see the different things you can do. You can create a family, purchase territory, upgrade territory, pay territory protection money, and flag ransom. So now this is kind of how you would go about beginning to build a base. I'm not 100% sure what the family thing does. I think what the family thing does is you can create a family of players. Anytime that player jumps into the game, you will then be put into that family. You're kind of automatically put into a group together rather than having to invite people to the group. I think that's how it works. I'm not 100%. Now, when you purchase territory, you'll buy it. You'll click purchase territory, and I think it's 10 grand, and you get a 40 meter flag. You can place that flag anywhere, and then within that 40 meters is considered your base territory. You can start building on that territory. Now, once you have that placed, no other player can build on that territory, unless, of course, you go to the 6 and you invite somebody to your territory. Once you then invite somebody to your territory, they can assist you in building on it or build their own things on it. Now, as far as I recall, at least in other Exile Mod servers that I played in, you can upgrade that territory to larger and larger spaces. I'm not sure if you can do that in this one based on some of the designs of the bases that I've seen, but it maybe. This pay territory flag ransom. Now, people can hold your base as ransom. They can charge you, let's say, 10 grand to get your territory back, where they potentially take over your territory for a certain amount of time. You have to pay the ransom money and get your territory back. Territory protection money, as far as I understand how it works, is the server only maintains your territory for like a week or 2 weeks or something like that. Now, every week or 2 weeks, you have to pay this territory protection money to make sure your territory stays there and your base stays there and does not get wiped when the server resets or when the server wipes everything after a week or whatever it is. So that's how you'd go about building your base, or at least starting to build your base. Like I said, we'll get to that in a later video. Over here, you got your vehicles, which is pretty self-explanatory. You spend your pop tabs to purchase vehicles, and some of your vehicles you also need respect for as well. So, like, for example, these epic quality vehicles and these legendary quality vehicles, I guess, require me to have a lot more respect that I don't have. So, kind of just a rule of thumb, you see people driving around in these vehicles, probably guess that they're doing either pretty well financially, or they've played this server for a long time and they're kind of in the higher rankings of it if they're able to afford a vehicle like that. Down here is where you would sell objects. So waste dump, if you have a crate, let's say you go on a mission, you get a crate full of stuff, you just want to sell the crate for money, you drop the crate here, go talk to this guy, and recycle goods. Now, obviously, I don't have anything within 50 meters of me to sell, but if you did, you click on this, and you'd get a drop-down menu that asks you what you'd like to sell. So if you dropped a cargo or a crate, it'll say crate, whatever the name of the crate is, and sell, and then how much you're going to get for it. Same thing applies for vehicles. You park within 50 meters, and you can sell that vehicle and the vehicle's contents and get money from it. Over here, you kind of saw the armory a little bit already. Armory is where you buy your guns, your sights, your attachments, your ammo, launchers, things like that. Equipment trader here is where you're going to buy your gear, so your chest rig, your glasses, your headpieces, backpacks, whatever you can buy, as well as your first aid stuff. Now, just a quick thing with first aid stuff. When you die, or when you at least get brought to 0 hit points, depending on how you died, gives you a certain status. So if you just get brought down just to 0, like if you took enough damage just to get down to 0, you'll probably get in a state what's called knocked out, where you're unconscious. Now, any of these states, you can use this defibrillator to revive yourself, or a player, or rather I should say a friend can use the defibrillator on you to revive you and get you back up. Now, this doesn't work necessarily all the time, and what I mean by that is there are other states other than knocked down. There's one state called on death's door, which is, I think, if you get headshot, or if you just take a massive amount of damage, like multi-system damage or multi-system trauma, you just can't come back from it. Somebody can still attempt to do CPR on you using the defibrillator, but I think it's a percentage chance whether or not it's going to actually work. Now, Instadoc, Vishparin, and Bandage are just a way to regain your health. If you click on these, it'll tell you exactly how much they do. So an Instadoc is going to do your 100% in your health over 30 seconds, 25% over 30 seconds, or 5% over 10 seconds. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to go out. This is the building materials guy. So he's going to be the guy that's going to sell the things that you need to make stuff. So can opener, you need to open cans. Light bulbs, hand saws, bag of sands, metal, basically everything you need to build a base. Now there are kind of, I don't want to say recipes because recipes is not the right term, but certain combinations of things you need to make to build stuff. I haven't gotten too deep into the base building aspect of the game, and like I said, we'll go over that in a different video. Water, yeah, biggest cement and a water canister I think you need to make concrete, which then you can turn the concrete into walls and stairs and floors and ceilings and all sorts of stuff. Some of the key things to note: you'll need an axe to chop down wood, which then you can make a crafting table out of and then make wood things out of. You don't see it here, but there's a knife that allows you to pick locks. A code lock you can buy to put on a door of your base to make a pinned entry. Safe kits is kind of like an inventory storage thing that you can buy. Let's see what else. Duct tape. That's a key point. Duct tape is used to repair vehicles. So if your vehicle loses a tire, as long as you have some duct tape on your body, you can duct tape the car and fix it up and be just fine. Now, kind of see these blinking things on the right side of my screen indicate my hunger and thirst. If that hunger and thirst gets down to 0, you'll start losing health, just like pretty much any Arma 3 mode that you play. So you go talk to this guy here, the fast food guy, and you buy all your food here. Now the food I like to buy the best is just the MREs and the power drinks, because they restore the most thirst and hunger. This will kind of give you an idea on how to interact with things as well. So we're going to purchase that, purchase that. So, for example, I need to eat now, so anything that is a usable item, like food, drink, first aid, double click, and then you're going to click the consume button. And you can do food and drink at the same time. You can also eat and drink and apply first aid while you're in a vehicle, which is kind of a nice aspect. You don't have to stop the vehicle, jump out, first aid yourself, or eat. You can just do it while you're riding in the vehicle. Now that kind of covers pretty much everything within the actual safe zone itself as far as purchasable things. Now you might be wondering, well, what about aerial vehicles, helicopters, things like that? Take a look at the map again. We'll go over some more key points in the map. You'll see down here is an airport, and self-explanatory. Airport is where you go down to buy planes and helicopters and things like that. Now the only difference between that and here is that it's not a safe zone. People can sit there and camp at the airport if they want. They can just sit at the end of the runway, wait for you to come by a helicopter, shoot you out of it, and then come take it. Perfectly legal. And there's no server rules against that. It's kind of the design of this design of the mod. So what I like to do is with my friends, and I want to go buy a helicopter, we'll go through, kind of clear these main compounds first, make sure there's nobody here, take a look at the either end of the runway, clear out the airport before we buy a helicopter or buy an airplane or whatever. Now, key point of the Exile server is it's not only a PvP server, but it's kind of a RPG server in a sense too, as you have missions to do. Now these missions are indicated by these icons with the red circles around them. For example, let's just start with the medevac. There's a lot of people that like to go for the medevac specifically because you get a helicopter from it. Now there's another medevac landing. Food supplies, self-explanatory, you get food supplies in a crate at the end of the mission. All of these missions have vehicles on them. So building fortifications, I believe has a Euro, which is a truck with a high carrying capacity. Construction site has a Euro as well. And I've heard people talk about that the building fortifications sometimes has an armed off-road. So there'll be an off-road with a 50 cal on the back of it that some of the AI operate. So sometimes people like to go for those as well. I mean, people like to go for all these missions, so it's not like something you can just jump in, jump out without taking enemy player fire. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Depends on what's going around the map. Like I said, these medevac landings are going to be top priority simply because you get a free helicopter by completing the mission. So now, missions in themselves, you saw me doing some of the missions in the previous videos, but you go there, there's a kind of a outpost town-like setup that's going on, and within that town is a bunch of AI. I think there's probably like anywhere from 10 to 11 or 12 AI in the town. Once you clear out all those AI, once you kill them all, you'll see a crate in the middle of the town that starts spawning purple smoke that indicates that you've completed it. There will also be a little icon that appears up in your top left-hand corner of the screen that says that this particular mission has been completed. If there's a vehicle there or a helicopter there, it'll give you the pin entry code to jump in that vehicle and then take it. So that covers missions. Now up here is kind of the piece de resistance of this particular Exile map and our server, called the Rad Zone. Now, self-explanatory, the Rad Zone is an area that is irradiated, and so to go in there without the proper equipment would mean death. Now, what you need to do is you get these things right here, these Exile gas masks. They're 30 grand to buy, so they're pretty expensive, but you don one of these and you are able to then go into the Rad Zone without taking radiation damage. Now, inside the Rad Zone is where the best gear and vehicles and things are going to be. I haven't been to one yet, but plan on going there very soon, and there'll probably be a video up of our Rad Zone trip. So that's kind of the end game for most players, is getting into the Rad Zone, getting all the gear, making a bunch of money, building a base. That's kind of the overall objective of the game. Safe hacks are things that pop up on the map after a certain amount of time, and they're usually somebody's base. So somebody's base, there's a safe in it, and the safe has been either designated as abandoned. I can't remember if it's a length of time thing, or the server just randomly picks somebody's safe and says that it's abandoned and start the safe hack, or if it's a player thing. I think it's a player thing, because there are these, let's see if I have it here, if I can open it up. There are these base laptops that you can use to hack people's bases and get into them, like hack the key codes and whatnot to get into their base. I'm not really 100% sure what these other icons are. I guess it says up here, Spec Ops Trader. Okay, so they're just different traders, I guess. So Spec Ops Trader, Cement Mixer, where you can get some cement for building cement bases. Military base. Okay, so yeah, those green areas are just kind of towns that are spread across that are military bases. Now, military bases are going to be your best place to get equipment, loot, like guns and attachments and sights, things like that. If you go back into XM8 again, and this is really useful to use as a Bambi, or after you die, click on this More tab and you get these options to deploy a bike or deploy a quad. Now, in order to do these, you need to have a, I believe you need to have an extension cord on you. Let's see if I can deploy this. Nope, because I don't have an extension cord. So the nice thing about this is they give you a way to move quickly around the map if you are a new spawn. Like if you are a new spawn, you want to try to get quickly back to your body, you don't have to just run there all the time. And this jackass just hit me. But you can deploy a quad. It'll deploy a quad bike. You can jump on and ride it away. You can do the same thing with a bike. Pretty useful. Now, one thing that was not very clear to me is view distance. Normally, like I play a lot of Arma 3 Wasteland. In order to adjust the view distance, you go into your configuration, your settings, your video, and turn up your view distance. Well, it's a little different in this game. They actually put a cap on it. So you're going to go back into your XM8 and click on view distance settings. They have put a cap in the game to a max of 3,500 meters. So I suggest when you first jump in, I can't remember what they statically, or what they have you set at statically, but slide that all the way up in whatever categories you desire so you can get the full depth of view. That happened to me where I jumped in and I saw people shooting at me, but I didn't know where the shots were coming from. I couldn't see because I didn't have my view distance turned up as far as it could go. Virtual Garage, basically you can use this to store vehicles. So if you have a vehicle that you want to store, you'd use the virtual garage, and I believe the virtual garage is located in your safe, not your safe zone, but your territory. So if you build a base, I think you have to get something to create a virtual garage and then store your vehicles there. You can't just be some random place in the world and store a vehicle. Health scanner, so if you take damage, you can take a look at your health scanner to see where you've taken the most amount of damage. So this is kind of what I was indicating before. When you get knocked down or when you die, essentially, if you took a headshot, that should go down to pretty much 0, and that lets you know that you're screwed. Yeah, so maybe in the next video or a couple of videos, I'll do some more breakdown of each one of these things. Like I'll show you an actual completion of a mission. We'll get to some base building. I'll try to record going to the different traders that are around the map and seeing what kind of gear they have, as well as hitting the airport and getting a helicopter. But For now, if you guys have any other questions, or if there's a topic that you want to know about that I didn't touch on or I didn't cover, go ahead and leave a comment down in the section below, and I'll do my best to make a video about it, or at least just answer your question directly. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.